We saw the drama from the roster changes start to play out, and it's going to continue to play out through this weekend. One of the big ones, Atomic going over to G2. Gibbs rated it a 9. Yet Pirelli, he still picked Complexity in this matchup.
Yeah. Gibbs and his contradictions, but still, you know, I think it's undeniable that on paper, the G2 roster seems very, very strong. I mean, Atomic is a very accomplished player here in North America, and for G2, I think they have some growing pains at the moment during their bracket run, but maybe not here in the beginning. The leading scorer for North America in Chicago, able to score here in the first 30 seconds.
And you see Raisebolt trying to get that out of the way from JNAPS, but Chicago turning quickly. Already G2's offense starting to look threatening. You even saw the double tap from Atomic. He was setting it up, forcing the touch out on the backboard. So Atomic, that double tap, forcing Complexity to use up a lot of boost and position, and you see him leading the attack yet again. Pass down to Chicago, and it's saved from Shad. The G2 offense, scary flip reset pass. JNAPS off the backboard, Chicago, and he's denied by AJG. JNAPS using the handbrake. Complexity holding on, and they survive by thin margins.
Survived by the post a couple times to save off their own post. Another shot comes out from Atomic. Relentless here from G2, and it's exactly the play style they're going for. Just shot after shot. They lead North America in shots per game as a team, almost 10 during a series, or during a game, excuse me, as G2, that pressure came out hot here, and 1 goal to show for it as Complexity now trying to get their bearings and get into this first game.
Very easily could have been 2. You saw the heroic saves coming out from multiple players of Complexity. Shad will boom it up to AJG. JNAPS beat to the ball. Shad blocked out by Chicago, who clogged that lane early, and that's key, especially when you got shooters like Complexity. Atomic go for the wall. AJG over JNAP's head, well-placed clear. Another challenge. It's going to get it out to the middle. Atomic right up the gut. Easy for Raisebolt. Gets demoed, however, after getting that hit. Atomic and Chicago. You saw them both in the same spot there.
Thought maybe they might pay for it there with the transition from Complexity, but you're right. Over-aggression was what plagued G2 yesterday. A lot of the goals they gave up were free touches that they gave in the midfield or just space that they gave up. And Complexity is definitely not a team you want to give space to. That flip reset type offense, that the individual plays they put on are quite scary as they are getting a bit more space now here against G2. The offense has slowed down. Complexity now very nicely getting into this game. You're seeing more and more double commits coming out from G2. Players trying to find their spots right now. And Complexity might have the opportunity to take advantage if they can get possession, but it won't happen here. JNAPS will throw it downfield.
Another 50 attempt ends up pinching Atomic, staying in the play. Straight up in the air, Chicago around AJG. Atomic going for the double.
Ooh.
Out to Chicago. Atomic wanted to get that touch. Seen that a few times where G2, oh, the demo in the air,
wow.
Chicago tipping that ball out. That was crucial.
JNAPS thought he was going to get a touch on that, but now here comes the transition. Atomic couldn't get a hold of it. And Complexity, the speed is there, but G2, they're finding each other downfield. Here's Atomic trying to get a touch. AJG will cut it out. And that's about as best as the defense has shown from Complexity, is just poking the ball away when G2 trying to find each other downfield with the point man.
And it seems like Chicago's the one blocking that final shot, getting up early, clogging the lane. We're seeing good movement out of Complexity, playing G2 very closely. But possession certainly in favor of G2. Atomic touch, trying to throw off the defense. It does. Rebound out to the middle. Bouncing up high, Chicago turns, infield pass, but it's right to AJG. Raisebolt against Atomic, the low 50, and AJG was too close to the ball, still trying to feed it to middle, and that pinch will relieve some pressure.
Good couple looks there for Complexity, though. 3 shots in this game so far. Chicago wants 2. This one dangerously coming out to JNAPS and Atomic. Neither of them facing the right way to get around it. JNAPS throws a weak one over the net, and with 30 seconds left, Complexity looking to tie things up.
JNAP streaking in. Shad, hard hit over. It's to RazeBull. He's got AJG in the middle. AJG off the arc and down. And JNAP's dribbling it, but he's got no boost. Has to bail on the play. Atomic with the support. RazeBull out of boost. Lobs it high. Chicago there first. Time ticking away. Last chance for Complexity to tie this up. And nobody from Complexity anywhere close to that ball. G2 win a tight one in game one.
And you got to give a lot of credit actually over to Complexity here, because G2 came out hot, and it truly is a triple threat from this team now with Atomic into the mix. G2, you see the offense there, shot after shot, the relentless pressure that came on, really pushing those guys in the goal line to use their boost or just jump at the ball if they have no boost. And again, you got to give credit to the defense to weather that storm. Only giving up a goal, I think, is an accomplishment there. But then changing your playstyle and adapting to G2, you could see Complexity get a lot more comfortable with what was happening in this game. And you saw Complexity then find the ball down, or possession downfield, and find each other downfield. It was much better from Complexity once they got through that first minute or so.
It certainly was. Complexity had their chances, but I think Chicago, for me, defensively from G2, made some standout plays, getting in front of the shot, shutting it down. But let's talk about Atomic a bit, because that's who all these eyes are on. Atomic, it was a one-up trade. Drees for Atomic. People not really sure what to make. I believe Daz said it might have been one of the worst trades ever. Maybe I'm misquoting him. We'll have to go back and check. But in this first game, in the bracket play, when all the pressure is on, Atomic seemed to be playing quite well.
Yeah, no, you weren't misquoting Daz. You were saying that, it's really going to mess with the mojo of G2. And I think there's an argument for that, but I also think that the players on G2 wanted to bring Atomic on. They feel comfortable with them. I think it's been obvious that they haven't had the results they've wanted so far, though it's only been, 4 or 5 series through the first event here. But, you could see glimpses of what this roster has to offer, especially, again, in that first minute and a half or so from G2. The triple threat with Atomic on this squad is undeniably good if they can keep that going.
Yeah, Atomic, his offensive presence, you're already seeing it. A lot of times being that vanguard that's leading to some rebound chances. Still, they only managed to score one. Complexity's defense holds strong again. Rebound to Atomic, and he will score it. But it is tough to get it past this Complexity defense.
Yeah, I was about to say, AJG is not letting anything in today, and that's a quality save, but unfortunately, G2 is going to have multiple players crashing the net, and that's a high-quality shot from Chicago. And you can see Atomic dumping it off to Chicago. That's the man to score the goals for G2. That's the man to score goals in North America right now. You got to give it to your shooter, and Chicago puts a quality shot on target with Atomic tap it in.
Complexity still looking for that first goal. They've hung with G2. And you just look at the points as well. These teams neck and neck. G2 sitting at number 3 total points in North America. Complexity number 4, and this is the lower bracket as well. So much on the line for these teams, Corelli, especially when you're looking at that big picture. The World Championship at the end, the Winter Major.
Yeah.
This is a critical matchup.
And especially when you consider that both these teams were at the last major, and both these teams had relatively different ways of going about the last major. But look at JNAPS with the double tap off the back wall. G2 up by 2.
And there's that Chicago JNAPS connection. And this G2 team, I don't know, Corelli, if you got JNAPS hitting these shots, which we have seen him do throughout his entire career, but no matter how the game evolves, no matter how fast players get, JNAPS still seems to bring that expert shooting and that playmaking ability, and that was one there.
Yeah, and what's funny about that play is normally it's the other way around. It's JNAPS setting up Chicago, and it's a reason why JNAPS is the North American leader in assists coming into this event, and it's because of Chicago being able to put away so many of his shots. But that time, that JNAPS can still put it away. And a great dish there from Chicago. Now 2-goal lead for G2, who have been phenomenal here in this series so far. You talked about possession, James, and that's exactly where G2 feel comfortable having the ball, getting those touches downfield. That's where G2 is the most scary. When they feel comfortable and they have possession, they're one of the best teams in the world. It's the consistency of that that's always plagued them.
Consistency on land as well. Chicago, G2 struggling on land, but online they seem almost unbeatable. And right now online, that seems to be the case yet again. A demo, however, Complexity will, I thought they were going to get one back, but JNAPS had the shot read. valiant effort from RazeBull.
Yeah, he picked a spot too, but JNaps read it. Now an opportunity again for Complexity. AJG trying to keep it difficult for G2. JNaps gets some space for himself, has Chicago. Goes for a flip reset, gets a second touch off the back wall, and AJG very patient there to read that one quite nicely for Complexity and get themselves out.
A nice body from Chicago on RazeBull. That allowed Atomic to have a clean clear out. And you're seeing how many times G2 is one step ahead from Complexity on these 50s, even there, where Atomic hunting for the bump on the backboard. He was going for it all.
Taking a page out of Complexity's book. Here's a shot from Chicago as Shad is able to turn it away. It's been top shelf for Chicago on most of these shots, and Complexity have had to rise to the occasion. Now another shot thrown towards target. That one popped over the net. Here comes Chicago again. RazeBull to clear it away. Complexity keeping the net over clean. Still, it's required 7 saves, and they're still down by 2.
AJG he's keeping these games tight. We've seen multiple saves in game 1, game 2, making plays, trying to keep Complexity close, but it's not enough. JNaps drops in another for G2.
Complexity stretching for this one, and you can see the relentless pressure again from G2. That time, AJG just not able to get the touch, came across too quickly. And G2, they've got players on both posts, near and far. You know if you're not going to get that touch, G2 will be there. And it's 11 shots for G2 here, hitting their mark, their average in their games, and 3 goals to show for it, as they have controlled most of game 2 here.
And only 3 shots for Complexity. That's going to be tough for him. You even see there, AJG couldn't get the bump. JNaps gets all the boost, dribbling one-on-one against RazeBull. RazeBull, patient, now on the counter. Shad will take it high, but well defended. JNaps off the ceiling, going to take this ball downfield with the demo. Complexity's offense has been struggling. Even there, Chicago was vulnerable to a hard shot, but no shot came out. AJG bumped. There's the boost steal as well from Chicago. Complexity need to get something going. 2 games in a row where they have not managed to score. See if they can get one late.
And it just goes to show, James, you know, what a lot of the good defenses here defensive plays for G2 have been strong offenses. Another one put away here for Atomic, but it just feels like G2 hasn't really had to play a lot of defense because their midfield presence and their offensive third presence is so strong. And it feels like Complexity have just been underwater for most of this game, that by the time they get down the field, they don't have much to show for it. They have no boost. They're not down the field to have a man to play to. It's been very difficult for them to put something together.
Difficult to say the least. Chicago flip reset will get saved by Shad. And now, if you're Complexity, I mean, do you take a pause here? Do you take a tactical timeout?
Can you do that?
They need to figure something out.
Yeah, 4-0. It's just gotten worse here. You know, game 1, they adapted. We kind of credit them for that. They did a good job defensively. And to be fair, they've fielded a lot of shots here from G2 and turned away 7 of them, or 8 of them rather. But still, it's not enough with the amount of pressure, with the amount of shots, with the amount of chances that G2's getting. It's got to be better from Complexity to meet G2 before those chances show up, before they can put it on target, because right now they're playing defense simulator for most of the game.
And on the flip side, it's offense simulator for G2.
Yeah.
And so far, they're passing the test with flying colors. You saw JNaps hitting double taps, and even though he is, you know, the lead assister, because Chicago scores so many goals, JNaps does hit these big time double tap plays so often. He is a clutch scorer, and that's something that he's done for his entire career. And this G2 team, they look different with Atomic, whereas Drees kind of brought this capable third man, a player who's going to go into the trenches, get demos, get bumps, try to allow JNaps in Chicago to be the offense. Atomic is so critical, and he's in a critical part of this offense. He is leading those attacks. He's leading those charges. Drees had that in him, but Atomic brings a certain level of lethality to the offense that is going to help unlock, I think, more offensive power from JNaps and Chicago. This G2 team is a triple threat, like you said.
Yeah, and it feels like more of everyone's kind of sharing the workload, whether it's the last man back or the first man down the field. It feels like every player is contributing to that part of the game, or any part of the game, I should say, for G2. And I think that's what makes it a lot more scary. I actually am seeing JNAPS be more of that third man a lot more of the times than Atomic is. And so it's interesting to see how G2 is sort of finding them falling into place, I should say, against some of these teams when we finally see them here in the competition.
And that did not take long. JNAPS picking up where he left off. Chicago off the wall, getting that touch. Shad completely bamboozled.
Wow.
Raise Bull beat to the ball. The speed from G2, they are outpacing Complexity, who is one of the speediest teams out there.
And it's another early goal for G2. It seems like the start of every game, something goes wrong defensively for Complexity, and then they turn it around. Here comes another one. JNAP surely putting that one away. A quick 2-goal lead for G2. And James, I mentioned they looked a little shaky yesterday. Well, today, they are the beast here on the field. They have dominated Complexity so far.
And this is wild to see. Complexity finishing second in their group. G2, they struggled. They only made it in after beating Ghost in a tiebreaker match. You heard the desk. They weren't thinking G2 was going to do much. And now they might get the perfect sweep.
Goodness.
And Chicago on the goal line, a redirect, beating out Complexity yet again.
And G2 taking full advantage of the space afforded to him, and you really got to have someone on Chicago downfield like that. And G2, Chicago has talked about this so much. He wants to play that, quote, G2 play style. Well, the passing plays is what the G2 play style is. The finding the man downfield is what the G2 style is. And it's Chicago on the ball, putting redirects like that on target. That's the G2 play style, and boy, is it fun to watch.
You know, I heard Daz say that they had a system, and it was messed up, but I don't know, this seems like a pretty good system to me.
My.
As Atomic drops it down and in. System upgrade for G2.
Upgrade, and everyone has been downloaded to Complexity, the first victim here for G2. 4-0, and we're not even through the first minute. As Complexity, the highest point total is Raisable at 12 points. They haven't even been able to touch the ball past kickoff so far.
And now the question is, will this be a perfect sweep? Complexity trailing G2 on points. An elimination match. The pressure is on. This is, you know, this is not Swiss, Corell. You don't get more lives. This is it.
You're done if you lose here. And
unbelievable.
It'd be a painful way to lose too for Complexity. Now, plenty of time still left on the clock, and granted, you know, James, despite the defense that they've had to play, they've had opportunities to catch G2 out. But right now, this game is looking very rough for them, as G2 have just been playing with them downfield a minute and a half in. G2 4-0 in the scoreline, and Complexity leaving the net wide open. Atomic has the entire half of Complexity to look at, and he'll put it away.
Now, you ask yourself, what do you make of this? What do you make of this G2 team? The group stage seemed like they needed to get their feet under them. But now, Corelli, it seems like they got their feet under them, and maybe a pair of steel-toe boots that they're kicking Complexity in the shins with. Yeah.
You know, they sometimes say you need to crawl before you can walk, and G2 came out sprinting here today. And it's been a joy to watch when you talk about their offense and how strong they are. We talked about the triple threat. It's certainly true. And for Complexity and for any other team, I should say, in the tournament, they should be paying attention here, because the G2 plays like this, there are very few teams that I think could stop them right now.
Atomic getting a pinch save with the crossbar. G2, they could have let that go in, you know, but they're trying to get this perfect sweep. And this seems like a statement series for G2. A lot of chatter, a lot of questioning of the roster move, but you cannot deny results.
Certainly true, especially against Complexity, and I'd love to see them carry this over into future games as well. You know, Complexity, I very much feel like is just the first victim here for G2 if they continue this way. And, you know, what can you do? What can you do to slow it down? We talked about earlier, James, how I felt like Complexity have to meet G2 a little bit earlier on the challenges to just stop the passing plays, but they haven't been able to, because G2's done a great job of holding on to the ball and finding space for the man off the ball. And that's been the beauty of the G2 offense right now, is on the ball and off the ball, both players have had space.
And a lot of that's due to how quickly players like Atomic can get to the ball. You saw Chicago beating out many players in the midfield. There's a chance, but Atomic will clear it out on the goal line. G2. It has been a special series from then. JNaps will get blocked out by Razebull. But on the other side, looking at it from Complexity's point of view, a heartbreaking result.
Especially when the full desk picked them. And I mean, look, I don't blame the desk for picking Complexity here, because I think, you know, as a team here, we're pretty much done doubting Complexity. Everyone knows the skill. This is a top 8 team at the last international LAN, at the fall LAN. So, I mean, this is an incredible start for G2, despite what maybe the woes they had early on. This is an incredible start for G2 to take down a team like Complexity, who I think people think very highly of. This is not some weak team here. People think very highly of Complexity, especially after their international performance.
And not only their international performance, but the consistency that they brought, even having to play against Space Station in the tiebreaker match to determine who even goes to the major. This is a Complexity team that, regardless of who they play against, seem to bring their A game and play a consistent game. They're always in it. But they were not in this series at all.
No, not even close. And they are 25 seconds away from being perfectly swept out of it. Chicago wants one more for the road. He'll get it 6-0. And G2 combined, it has been a phenomenal series from this squad. And you start to wonder, what else can they do down the line?
You really do it. And we're going to have to wait and see, is G2 this good? You looked at the group stage results and you're thinking, oh man, this might not be that good. But then you witness this perfect sweep, 6 goals in the final game. We'll see if Complexity can prevent it, but it looks like Complexity will have their name added to a short list, and it's not a list you want to be on.
Wow, definitely not. And for Complexity, we will be saying goodbye. My goodness, G2 Esports looking dominant to kick things off here in the winter.